Howdy folks, welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm your host, the Mighty Bjorn, and today for you I have another Sprocket Community Steel video. Really quick folks, just a quick plug-in on how this works. If you have a tank design that you have created and are interested in having it featured, send me a screenshot of said design and the blueprint of the design, and maybe I'll feature it in a Community Steel video. Well, let's dive on in here. Today's video is going to feature multiple users from the Discord that I got blueprints from, and I am going to share their designs. The first vehicle I am featuring today is Dario's BT5. It's actually not a bad vehicle, even though it's extremely light, but hey, it's a BT5 and it looks pretty good and it actually moves pretty fast. Do a quick battle here on Railway, even though it doesn't actually go well for me because, yeah, BT5 thin armored and lots of enemy vehicles. Let's dive on in here to the next vehicle. The next vehicle is a Leopard 2 A6, and this is from Killdozer. I think that's how you say his name. I might be wrong about that, but it's not bad. I think he may have edited the file a little bit. I'm not sure. The turret traverse feels fairly snappy. Armor wise, it's not bad, although it's pretty easy to actually penetrate the hull. But the turret is actually quite tough, and it's interesting how he actually created the angled shaping, the essentially the bolt-on additional armor that they put on the Leopard 2 A6, and it does feature the 120 millimeter main gun, and it is actually quite effective. It's not really a bad tank whatsoever. It moves also pretty good for its weight, as it is actually, I'm trying to recall the weight. I believe the total weight's 62 tons is what he has it at, or 60 tons. Can't quite recall. But we're just running Taiga here a little bit, and we're going to blast some vehicles with it. It does got quite good penetration on the 120 millimeter main gun. Unfortunately, did not spawn anything like a Jagdtiger to really test out the penetration here to see what it has, but it cuts right through these Comet medium tanks, no problem. The Comets that I designed, and also facing against KV-1, so it's just not a very good comparison on armor and penetration and etc. But as you can see here, I'm letting loose with it. I mean, essentially, generally what it comes down to is this is a modern tank fighting World War II tanks, and it's not going to be a good even matchup, even though it's one against 8. The next vehicle is another more modern vehicle. This is from Turkman Jones, and this is his Challenger 1, and I'm just running around on the flat sandbox with it. Now, I did for this vehicle, as well as the Leopard 2 A6 from Killdozer, I actually had to take and turn on the space limitation cheat, so that way I could actually run the vehicles, because the hull on the Leopard 2 A6 and both the hull and the turret on the Challenger 1 here was actually redlined. There's no other way around it except for turn on the no internal space limitation cheat in the options. And I'm just going to roll around here a little bit, blast it. Honestly, the speed feels a little bit better. Well, I think it's the acceleration actually feels better than it really should. I know the Challenger 1's top speed really was not bad, but the acceleration kind of feels better than it really should. It is definitely well armored from the front. As you can see there, I could not penetrate the other Challenger 1's turret with the 120 millimeter main gun on my Challenger 1, although I was able to easily penetrate the hull. Now for the next one, a 148-ton behemoth called the Hunter Mark II. This is from Vader Sama, and this is his Hunter Mark II design. It's actually, I think it's a really interesting design. It's a little heavy. I personally don't like tanks this heavy because, well, currently there's no missions you can run them in, but it is definitely a very cool design. It's got explosive reactive armor plate covered in the front of the turret. He did kind of try to round out the turret, make the turret look round. It's actually got a very large cannon. I believe it was a 150 millimeter main gun. Now I'm going to spawn in an enemy vehicle here really quick. Spawn in a Panther. And yeah, that one pretty damn quick. It's got external fuel tanks, so it does feel like it is a Russian-inspired vehicle. I guess you could kind of say it's a more modernized, super heavy tank, considering like the M1A2C with its at combat weights only like 70 tons or 72 tons. Can't quite recall that number off the top of my head, but it's in that range, and this thing is almost double that. Now I am shooting at one of the other Hunter Mark IIs that spawn here. As you can see, it does have the explosive reactive armor using explosive barrels, and then what he did is he used square panels to cover up those square barrels to make it look like ERA bricks. As you can see, it's actually working quite well, as my shells are not getting to actually hit the actual tank itself. It's getting it blown up by the explosive reactive. Now I was able to hit the lower area there and penetrate no problem. And same thing here, that's the lower rear of the vehicle, which is why you saw the engine fire there. And it actually maneuvers around pretty well for a vehicle of its size. Once again, I kind of suspect, just the way it feels, the way it drives the turret traverse, it just kind of feels like to me that the file might have been edit itself. A little bit of cheating and coding there to get it to work. Now we're going to move on to the GTK also 2. This is from Julius 85, and essentially that it loosely translates as believe it is armored transport vehicle is what it loosely translates as. And essentially that's what he has here. He has an APC with a very small man turret armed with a 47 millimeter gun that's actually got a pretty fast rate of fire. And the reason I believe, once again, we're looking at a vehicle where the file has been edited, but it's definitely a cool design. It feels inspired by, say, an M113, which, well, that's not really surprising for how many vehicles was either designed based off of the M113 or were just M113s in general. And oh, I killed myself. Okay, moving on to the next tank. This is the return of Killdozer. Yes, Killdozer. German Train, who was featured in one of my earlier videos with his various construction vehicles that he's built, has actually, because of the video thumbnail I used, which was the actual Killdozer, he decided to actually build Killdozer. So here it is, folks, his Killdozer, and it's actually pretty good. He's put a lot of work into making this thing actually look like Killdozer itself, and it's even got a port for a 50 caliber rifle there, which is pretty funny in itself. Let's check and see how the bulldozer blade works here. And yeah, I'm stuck. Yeah, that goes to figure. I got stuck on the barrel, so the dozer blade doesn't work too good, but the vehicle itself looks pretty damn good, and I felt it was worthy to show off something from German Train once again with one of his works of art. But anyway, folks, that is the end of this Community Steel video, the third installment of Community Steel. Anyway, folks, hopefully you all enjoyed the video. Thank you very much for tuning in. Once again, if you have a design you would like featured in a Community Steel video, shoot me a message on Discord. You can find me, Mighty Bjorn 1984. I have my own Discord, which the link is in the video description. And you can also find me in the Sprocket Community Discord. Anyway, folks, once again, thank you very much for tuning in. Hopefully you enjoyed the video, and have yourself a wonderful day.